sweet life, sweet life, sweet life.
Hi guys, and welcome back. Today we're going to be making this Sonic the Hedgehog cake topper, and we're going to be making it all on our phone. So we're going to start off by going to Google, and we're just going to get some ideas of some Sonic the Hedgehog toppers that we see online. And there are websites where you can find like free printables and free printable toppers, but we're going to try to do something similar to this one that we found online. So first, what we're going to do is start looking for Sonic images, and we want to find a transparent Sonic image without any background. So I usually type in Sonic PNG transparent, or Sonic images transparent, or Sonic vector. Like, it just depends. And you will see both images with the background and without the background. And I will show you what it looks like, what I mean by no image with the background, once we find one that we actually like. As you can see, there are tons of Sonic images, but this is the one that we actually settled on. So we're going to save it to our phone. Then we're going to go into the Canva app, and we're going to get a blank Instagram post, which is just going to give you a plain white square, and you can decorate it however you want. This is how I always start off making my toppers for cakes, cupcakes. So the first thing we're going to search is a circle. And we're going to go into the bottom where it says elements, and we're going to find a circle. So we found that circle. It's white, so you can't see it. So we're going to change the color so you can actually see it. I'm going to change it to yellow, and that's going to be the background of our topper. Okay, so now that we have our first yellow circle, we're just going to highlight it and duplicate it. Just going to make a copy of it. It says duplicate at the bottom. And so we're going to turn one circle red, and then we're going to leave the other one yellow. And so the red one, we're actually going to size that to be the larger one. And then we're going to make the yellow one smaller, so the red one can be like a frame around the yellow one, like so. Next, we're going to go in and we're going to insert our Sonic image. See, as this is what I was talking about. It has no background on it. So you're able to just put it on top of your topper, not worry about the white background on it. I will show you guys in another video that if you do find an image that you like, how to remove the background. But since I wanted this one to be kind of beginner friendly, we just started with a image with no background. So now we're going to go in and find a number 5. I typed in number 5, and we're just going to go through. As I told you guys in my last video where I showed you guys how I use Topper, we find the free images, and this was a free number 5, so it's black. But what I love about Canva is you always can change the colors. So we changed it from black to blue to match the Sonic, and we're just going to add that to the topper. Very easy. Next, we're going to go in. I'm just sizing that 5 to the size that I wanted it to be. So next, we're going to go in and we're going to find some stars. And so we're just going to scroll through. And like I said, if you find an image in my last video, I'm sorry, not in this video, but if you find an image that has nothing, then it's free. But if you see pro or any writing or price at the bottom, then you do have to pay for the image. So we're just going to find some free stars. We found 3 little yellow stars, and we can size those. We're going to size them. And so I decided, since the stars are actually yellow and the background is red, we're going to change that background from red to blue to kind of match that whole Sonic theme with the yellow, with the blue ring and the yellow stars. So I think it looks better like that. And then we'll add the yellow stars around the border. Okay, so now I'm just using the little tools. So with every image, you'll get 2 little circles that pop up. One has like a cross, and the other one has like a circle. The cross is what allows you to move the image from side to side, up and down. And then the circle allows you to rotate. So I'm using the circle to rotate it so it can kind of fit on the blue frame, and I just duplicated it again. I went to the bottom, you highlight it, just press duplicate, and then it duplicated. I'm just gonna make those stars go all the way around that circle like that, and I'm just using the little circle on the image, and it allows you to rotate it. So that's what we're going to do all the way around that blue circle. Well, mostly around it, because we're going to end up adding a banner at the bottom. So you can add the stars if you want, but the ones at the bottom will be covered up because we are going to add a banner. Okay, so you see with this group of stars, I added it, and it actually went on top of the number 5. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to position at the bottom. We're going to highlight the 5, go over to position, and then we're going to click that we want to bring that 5 to the front. And what that does is it makes the actual stars go behind the 5 like we just did. So now we're looking for a banner. I went back into elements and we found this white banner. Like I said, I used the circle tool to rotate it, so I flipped it the other way, and so now we're going to end up turning that banner red. You have to be careful with some of these images because the actual banner is white but the border is black. So I kept clicking to change the black, and it was only changing the outline color. It wasn't changing the inside. So make sure you click on the actual color that you're trying to change, and then you can go in and select what color to change it to. So we changed that banner to red to match the number 5, and so I'm just playing with it to get it the right size and get it into position. And so I'm just kind of moving everything around. You can move these around as much as you want until you get them in the perfect position. Just trying to get everything to fit and kind of make sense. So once we got our banner into place, we're actually going to add a name. So we're going to go into text, and we're going to choose which font we want. And we choose the one that says Cheers. And we're going to add the name Caleb. And the automatic color that it comes in is green. So we just went to the bottom and we changed it to blue. And we're going to make that fit onto our banner. We're just going to play around with it till it gets to the perfect position. And then you can actually go into the font and you can change it. You can change the shadow, you can change the background color, and that's what I'm doing here. And so I finally got the letters how I want them. There's also, if you scroll all the way to the right, there's a lock at the bottom of the screen. So a lot of times when you have a bunch of images stacked on top of each other, when you're trying to select one image, sometimes it selects a different one. So you can go in and you can highlight that image, and then you can go over all the way to the right and lock it. So once you lock it, it won't move. And so you won't be as confused as to which image. So now we're going to add some gold rings because, you know, Sonic is synonymous for collecting his gold rings. And so I literally just went into elements and typed gold rings. I think these are supposed to be like wedding rings or something, but whatever. We're going to use them as the Sonic rings. And like I said, I'm just using the circle tool, and then I'm going to add those, just kind of playing around with them. I'm going to add them where I want them to go. Okay, so last but not least, I felt like something was missing. So we're going to add a palm tree. And so this is where I'm going to show you how it gets kind of tricky, but just pay attention. So we found a palm tree like the one that's in the Sonic game. So I want this palm tree to be behind Sonic, behind the number 5, behind everything. So I'm going to highlight that palm tree, and we're going to send it back. It's under position, and then you highlight it, and then we're going to send it to the back. Now you see the palm tree is behind Sonic, is behind the number 5, is behind the banner. So I'm going to just move it around in the background to kind of fit it where I want it to go. I want it to kind of take up the majority of the circle, and we're going to make sure that the bottom of that palm tree meets the top of our banner at the bottom. You don't want the palm tree just floating, so we want the actual trunk of the tree to go all the way down to meet the banner. And as you can see, I did that. And lastly, what we're going to do No, not lastly, second to last. The 5 just looked a bit flat to me. So what I did was duplicated just how I did the 2 circles in the beginning, and then I made the back one black and then the top one red, just to give it a little bit more like dimension, make it look a little bit more 3D, because all of the other images are kind of like 3D and the 5 was just too flat. So I just, like I said, I duplicated it. I made the back one just a little bit bigger and I made it black, and then I sat the other 5 on top of it. So it just gives it a little bit more dimension. Now that I've changed the 5, it actually sent the gold rings behind the 5. So now I'm just going to highlight those and I'm going to go back to position. I'm going to bring the gold rings back to the front like we did before. Now, lastly, for real this time, lastly, we're going to reposition Sonic. As you can see, his foot is kind of cut off by one of the rings and the banner. So we're going to highlight Sonic and we're going to bring him to the front, bring him forward. Just make sure you highlight him and not the tree. Like I said, it can get tricky when you have a bunch of images on top of each other. But if you do try to make this topper, when you do make it, just put the tree on first, so you don't have to worry about trying to send the tree behind it. As soon as you make the yellow circle, just put the tree on. So we see we brought Sonic to the front. Now his foot is in front of the banner. I'm just repositioning him just a little bit, and then we're done. So this is how our topper turned out. So now we're gonna save our design. Now it's saved to my phone. And so now we're in the Pages app. You guys, we've worked in the Pages app before, where I showed you guys how to make the Hennessy labels in this app. So now we opened up a brand new page. We inserted our Sonic topper that we made, and the reason why we're using the Pages app is, as you can see, as I'm moving it around, you see the height and the width of it. So we're putting it into the Pages app so that we can size it. We can size it the correct size that we need it for our cake. So it's going on an 8-inch cake, so that's why I sized it to a little bit over 6 inches in width. Okay, so once you get it to the desired size, you have 2 options. You can either share it like in an email, or you can print it. So I have a Bluetooth printer, so I just sent it directly to my printer, and this is how it came out. I printed it on white cardstock, so here it is. You can also print it on glossy cardstock, but I didn't have any. So this is a book of cardstock that I have, and so I was trying to figure out which background I wanted to put. So I have blue. I was kind of matching it up with the blue to see if it matches with the red, or which one I wanted to use. So I actually had some scrap blue glitter cardstock from a topper that I made earlier this week. So I think I'm going to actually do the glitter. I always choose glitter. I just love adding that little pop of glitter. So we're just going to take some scissors and we're just going to cut this topper out. So I'm actually leaving like a little white border around mine. You don't have to leave a white border. You can cut yours exactly on the line. You don't have to leave that little white space. And I forgot to mention, when you do print this out, or whether you're emailing it to be printed or printing it, you do want to save it as a PDF. You always want to save it as a PDF, because it will save the actual size that you saved it as, and then it also will lock all of your pictures into place. Whereas if you don't save it as a PDF, your pictures can shift during like the email and the printing, and they might not be in the same position that you put them in. So you always want to do it as a PDF. If you're sending it to anywhere to be printed, like your local office supply store or something, they will want it to be in a PDF. That's the best way. So we have it cut out. And so now I'm just sizing it against my blue glitter cardstock. And so similar to if you watch my Encanto cake topper video, we're going to do this similar way. We're going to flip it over. You want to trace it from the back. You don't want to trace it right side up, because it will be facing the other way when you glue it. So I'm just using a pencil to trace around my image so I can see exactly how big my image is. And then I'm just going to use my scissors, and probably like less than 1/4 of an inch, or maybe 1/4 of an inch out, I'm going to cut around to create a small border around my card, around my topper. You can make your border as large, as wide as you want. I just like a thin glitter border. I don't like a super thick border, but like I said, if you want your border to be thicker, you can. You can do a really thin blue border, and then behind it, you could have did a whole nother color, like a glitter red or glitter yellow. I'm only going to do the blue just to show you how to do it, but you can get as fancy with this as you want. Like you can see, that's how big my frame will be when I add the image on top, like so. How cute did that turn out? And so now we're just gonna, these are some wooden skewers that I got from the dollar store, and we're just gonna glue these in between the white and the blue image. So we're just going to get those two images, those two sticks, and we're going to glue them with our hot glue sticks. So when I did mine, please make sure when you do this step that your sticks are perfectly straight. Mine aren't. They're a little slanted outward. Make sure that yours are perfectly straight, because when you do stick it down into the cake, it's harder to stick down into the cake when the sticks are slanted. So you want them to be completely straight up and down. This whole tutorial is just for a video purpose, to show you guys how I make these. This isn't for anyone. So when you make yours, please make sure yours are more parallel. Mine are like a little slanted, so it would make it a little bit more difficult to stick into the cake. So now I'm just adding some more glue, and then I'm going to get my topper. You absolutely could have separated your images as if you were doing this on a Cricut, like the number 5. You could have printed that separately, and then you could have added a glitter background so it was more like 3D. But this is how it turned out. You guys can get as fancy as you want with these, but they are super easy, and we did it all from our phone, girl. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye, guys.
A sweet, 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 sweet life.